So Frank Smith recently made the comments that Dave Allen could even be looking at a Johnny Fisher Trilogy fight. Now, I want to confirm this is a fight that absolutely nobody is asking for. But now that you think about it, following Dave Allen's performance against Makhmudov, that fight does make more sense, right? So Dave Allen's lost a lot of that momentum he gained from the Johnny Fisher win. And Johnny Fisher must be due for a comeback soon. So that rematch taking place in, early 2026, because I think they're planning on Johnny Fisher coming back for the Monaco card in December. If Johnny Fisher can face, a scrub there, get a win back, and then looking at March, April 2026, that would be hopefully back in the copper box. It's my neck of the woods. So you've got the second fight sold out the copper box, and then Dave Allen recently just sold out in Sheffield. These are guys who can shift tickets. Now, Dave Allen, granted, has lost some of that momentum, but the fans still love Dave Allen. The people love Dave Allen, right? And Johnny Fisher's been proven as a ticket seller as well. And this comeback it'd be a comeback after a first loss, but he would have fought in Monaco since. Do you know what I mean? But back in the copper box since that loss, definitely would be a big story, a big narrative, and they would shift some tickets. And like the copper box, I believe, was a sellout. They would sell it out again if they did the trilogy there. But the first fight was very close, very competitive. The second fight, Johnny Fisher was winning the fight, but he punched himself out, and Dave Allen was on him like a rash, and Dave Allen was able to stop him. You would think, when you lose like that, and it's, so clearly, so evidently down to just one thing, you would think Johnny Fisher going forward would make a concerted effort to rapidly improve his gas tank. Now, with Johnny Fisher, you just see a lot of him on social media, so you sort of assume he's not training hard. I would like to think he is training hard, but again, the narrative on social media isn't that like he's saying bosh with his dad and eating takeaways and all that and going to the gym occasionally. But I'd like to hope he was a very sort of dedicated pro boxer. And if he's coming back on December, then he should be in camp already, I'd imagine. But yeah, say all that to say, I wouldn't be entirely against the Dave Allen v Johnny Fisher trilogy. I would like to see both guys move on to something else, if I'm being honest. That wouldn't be my first priority. But I think Johnny Fisher should come back against a sort of English level heavyweight. I mean, he should probably come back against a journeyman, realistically. Like a low level journeyman. Then early 26 fight an English level fighter. Then come summer 26, maybe looking at a Fraser Clark fight for the British heavyweight title. Because I think Fraser Clark will beat Jamie TKV. I think Fraser Clark will then probably want to fight a Dave Allen. He'll beat Dave Allen. And then come summer 26, he'll be needing a new opponent and he could beat Johnny Fisher as well. And then by then, Fraser Clark can make his way back up to the European level and then pushing for fringe world level. But assuming he's not too old and not got too many miles on the clock, but that's what I'd see for the future of that sort of level of boxing. But yeah, I do think it'd be a fun fight. The first fight was close. Second fight was a really fun fight in the copper box. The atmosphere was amazing. They could definitely recreate that again. The thing is, there's a part of me that does actually think Johnny Fisher is the better boxer than Dave Allen. Like in the second fight, he was outboxing Dave Allen. He was landing more punches, putting his punches together nicely, but he punched himself out. And now that might have been part of Dave Allen's plan. And in fact, he said it was. To apply pressure, force him to throw punches and make him punch himself out. So by the time they got to, I think it was the fourth or fifth round, Dave Allen was still there and Johnny Fisher was there for the taking, right? So that's what makes the third fight interesting. But it's not my first option for both guys. I'd like to see both guys go on to bigger and better things first. Because that trilogy fight, not to say it's always going to be there, because Johnny Fisher's very young, but Dave Allen's definitely on the back end of his career now. So the fight's not always going to be there, but in a way, it's always going to be there, right? In a certain type of way, it's always going to be there because they've got that history and they're both guys that can sell tickets. So yeah, I'd be curious to know what you guys think of the potential of a Fisher v Allen 3 fight. Yeah, let me know in the comments below. Another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest in the bag, and I'm out. Peace.